A full house inside of historic Coleman Coliseum for some SEC Network basketball. 9th-ranked Kentucky. Alabama, two teams looking to get back to their winning ways. Cats at 11-3, Alabama at 9-4. Dave Neal alongside former Missouri All-American John Sunvold. Laura Rutledge roaming the sidelines tonight. So glad you could join us as Kentucky and Alabama coming your way in a matter of moments. Now, Kentucky on their last game against LSU really throttled by the Tigers. Inside game not there.
Yeah, not physical enough. And these two guys, Poythress and Lee, I expect them to play better. They gave up 16 offensive rebounds, LSU. Marcus Lee, nothing more frustrating than to be in foul trouble. I'll only get 5 minutes.
Hey, a couple of Alabama players have really stepped up their game, including Retno Basahan.
He's been terrific. You see his point averages. He has been the guy offensively and defensively, true leader for Avery Johnson's ball club.
How about the graduate transfer, Alex Edwards?
A guy that was unexpected when he came. Now a 5th year, he transferred from New Mexico. He can shoot it, he can defend, and again, Avery Johnson relies on his two veteran players.
Had an outstanding night on Thursday against Ole Miss. Quick turnaround for the Crimson Tide. Meanwhile, Kentucky hasn't played since Tuesday, so a lot of practice time for the Wildcats. We'll see how that plays out.
John Calipari said they have had battles in practice because they need to be more physically tough. He knows this Alabama team is good defensively.
And right away, Poythress takes it to the rack and gets fouled. That will go against Michael Kessens on the inside.
Not surprisingly, you showed the graphic, Poythress, 26 minutes, only 4 points. Again, when you're the inside guys and everybody talked about LSU out-muscled, out-physical, all those things, you take it personal. And this is older guys, Poythress and Lee.
Poythress at the free throw line. Knocks home the first point of the game, 61% at the line.
Good matchup out front in point guards. Justin Coleman learning the game and learning the system in his sophomore season at Alabama. Ulis, the sophomore, has been terrific for Kentucky.
That's with the pressure. Kessens will set it up with Coleman.
And the matchup, Briscoe on Obasahan. Briscoe is a solid body, only a freshman, but he's solid, physical.
That one's knocked away by Murray. Off to Ulis. Blocked by Kessens. There's Poythress. His follow is good.
Shoot around today. John Calipari said we want to push, we want to run, we want to attack. Alabama's a good half-court defense. We want them to run back, see if we can challenge them at the rim.
4-0 Kentucky. Alabama fell behind by 10 against Ole Miss. A hold against Kentucky, but rallied back to take a lead against the Rebels on the road before eventually falling.
Had a chance, like you said, in the last 10 minutes, anybody's ball game. Here's the matchups, though. Obasahan being guarded by a freshman in Briscoe. Edwards, the 5th-year senior, being guarded by Murray, the freshman. Even though they're outstanding freshmen, let's see if these Alabama veteran players can figure out how to either draw fouls, draw contact, or score some buckets.
Edwards to trigger it in. Obasahan.
Good kick.
Lines up the 3. No good. Tapped around, taken by Poythress.
Poythress has 3 rebounds early in this game. Nice play.
Good save by Ulis. Briscoe kicks it to Poythress. Long rebound to Murray. Fresh shot clock.
Solid block out by Lee. Got tangled up with Taylor. But allows Kentucky another possession. We already see this Wildcat team much more aggressive than they were against LSU.
That foul will go against Jimmy Taylor. And Poythress playing like a man who's been challenged tonight.
Yeah, I think so. Watch the bounce pass and the elevation. This is a good foul. Met him at the rim, the contact. And the ball goes low. Makes it easy because the ball bounced right in the chest of Poythress. John Calipari said we had a few practices where we basically put the rim inside a rim where no ball goes through. And all that means as a competitor is it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of war for the next hour and a half.
Friendly roll for Poythress. Here is Coach Cal, now in his 7th season. Hall of Famer.
And searching a little bit when we talked to him today about what his team, what they're about and who they are. What players does he have?
Batted around, another opportunity. Boys, so much energy from Kentucky here in the first couple of minutes.
Outstanding on the defensive end. Alabama in their own building. They've got to calm down just a bit. They're excited, crowd's excited, but they've got to make sure they get good, solid possessions.
Avery Johnson in his first year talked to him today about the quick turnaround. He says in the NBA, I'm used to that, but my kids aren't. So he says he did all he could to get them prepared. Didn't work real hard yesterday. Got home around midnight on Thursday night. About an hour-and-a-half workout yesterday.
I think what he told us, I mean, it's true, because he was a player and a coach at the level where you play every night or every other night. He knew he had to get his guys fresh bodies and ready for this afternoon. Wow, what a take. How quickly they come back.
Murray with a circus shot.
Wow, he looked to pass it. He didn't have control, was going to give it up, and finished.
Murray averaging 17 a game.
Dave, remember when Obasanjo was a freshman and sophomore, all we talked about really was his defensive ability and his ability to jump. Now he's added a true offensive game to knock in outside jump shots.
Obasanjo off to Riley Norris. That one's off the mark, hit the front of the rim, and it'll belong to the Wildcats with 17:08 to go here in the opening half and a 5-point lead for Kentucky.
Watch the push, and again, the body control and strength of Breton Obasanjo. Can glide, he's powerful, he's got those shoulders, you can't really bump him. When he's bumped, he doesn't get bumped off his base. He's still solid with the shoulders up top.
Tyler Ulis, second in the conference in assists. Murray, no good. Rebound Lee had it taken out of his hands by Obasanjo, and a bump foul will go against Jamal Murray.
Aggressive rebound by Lee, but active hands by Obasanjo, and maybe a smart play by Obasanjo. I'm not sure he got pushed, but he knew he couldn't control himself, so he got his body into Murray. Murray's been outstanding, the freshman. This one's in and out, so as a shooter, you kind of feel like you have a chance.
More pressure from Kentucky. Justin Coleman will run the point for the Crimson Tide. Alabama was the last team to open up conference play. That was Thursday night, so they are 0-1. Kentucky 1-1 in league play. Coleman. Shannon Hale. Good start for Shannon. He needs that. He's been struggling.
And Hale makes this team entirely different, Dave. He's aggressive, not only rebounding, but also in the offensive end shooting. They are a different ball club.
Short. And a foul against Kentucky.
Isaiah Briscoe is under 20% from the three-point shot, and that one you can tell doesn't have a lot of confidence when he shoots the ball. Lee again aggressive, picked up the foul, but again the aggressiveness of Marcus Lee is obvious here in the first few minutes.
Labissiere will pick up the foul as he just checked in. Scout coming off the bench the past few games. Here's Hale. That won't go. Knocked around. Ulis. Labissiere can't hang on to it. Last touch by Hall. 15:52 to play in the opening half. 7-4. Kentucky out in front. Kentucky Wildcats lead at 7-4 over the Alabama Crimson Tide. Back here in Tuscaloosa, Dave Neal alongside my All-American guard, John Sunvold. And when we talked to Coach Cal today, you kind of sensed that, well, he put the thumb on his team a little bit this week, and it showed early on. A lot of energy.
You know what? He wasn't happy. Fans weren't happy, but players aren't happy. And Poythress has come out. He's been aggressive. There's 4 offensive rebounds already for this Kentucky team. They have a good pace to this game. They're playing hard, playing well.
Third member of our team is Laura Rutledge. Let's catch up with her right now. Hey, Laura.
Hey, Dave, and John mentioned it, the energy, the pace early on. Coach Calipari's message to his team just before tip was be the aggressor. If a shot doesn't go in, you have to rebound, and we have to take care of those chances and take advantage of them. And also, guys, the message to Marcus Lee coming into this game is he cannot get into foul trouble. Coach is telling him that would be fatal to his team. They have to have him on the floor tonight.
Yeah, you could just you could tell that he was on Marcus a little bit even today about, hey man, be excited. Hey, this is a game day. You got to want to play. You only get so many chances.
I think what's key, and people may not understand it, juniors and seniors usually don't have to be reminded, even though everybody wants to remind them. Freshmen, maybe you do. But juniors, I think Marcus Lee and Poythress walked into this building, and it wasn't about being giddy at shoot-around. It was about being ready tonight for the game.
Jamal Murray knocks down that three, a 38% three-point shooter on the year, and Kentucky stretches their lead to 6.
And how good has Kentucky been defensively? Alabama rarely gets a good look, even at any kind of shot.
Labissiere with the block. Murray the other way. Norris returns the favor.
Good hands, good hustle defensively.
Obasahan left open, top of the key, 3, got it.
Marcus Lee forgot who they were setting a screen for. You can go under and be beat deep if it's Coleman. It was Obasahan coming off. You got to get to him quickly. Keep an eye on Riley Norris chasing Murray across the screens. Murray, outstanding shooter, has knocked in a long one already.
Murray 6th in the conference in scoring. Shot clock at 5. Murray to the rack. Fouled. They're going to count it.
And why Murray is so good, Dave, you just saw it. He can come off and shoot the jump shot from deep, but he can also keep it on the floor with his dribble and attack the defender.
Labissiere with the block here.
Well, block on one end and then a block on another end. So really, you've got both teams playing extremely hard. Look where Marcus Lee, when he sagged off that, John Calipari was on his feet right away. Again, you must understand who the pick and roll is for. You've got to get to the shooters early.
On the far side, Avery Johnson talking to Glenn Tuitt, our official, saying that he thought Murray was fouled way out. So did I, to be honest with you. But Murray at the free throw line, trying to convert the three-point play, and he does so. So Murray off to a good start here on the road. He now has 8 points to lead everybody in the game. 8 of the 13 of Kentucky's points.
There are times Kentucky struggles scoring the basketball. They struggle shooting amongst the guys, except for Murray. He's been the solid, consistent one on the offensive end this season.
Michael Mulder checks in. Junior college transfer, 6'4", 185 guard out of Windsor, Ontario. He's worked his way into the rotation. Former junior college All-American.
Brandon Austin, the freshman in the lineup for Alabama, threw that ball away. Obasahan with a good cut. Again, I think Alabama a little hyped. The energy's high, but they've got to calm down enough, especially in the offensive end. Too many turnovers, too many mistakes.
Labissiere bumped, left it short. Battle for that rebound. Paul Labissiere, a couple of freshmen. Now Poythress getting in there. Obasahan telling Hall to step away.
Physical play, and Kentucky wants to see this out of Labissiere because they figure he's just been a little thin, a little tough times competing at a physical level. Dante Hall likes to be physical. And Alex Poythress just kind of playing sheriff out on the court.
Here's Edwards. Austin. See what we got. And a technical foul on Labissiere. Coach Cal might get one too here in a second. I don't know what triggered that.
Well, he was blocking out Edwards. Again, Edwards is that fifth-year senior. Smart, trying to be aggressive, trying to tackle. Labissiere has heard it from everywhere around the country that he's not physical enough. He's not aggressive enough. Now he's getting caught grabbing and pushing just enough. Edwards got in his face quickly. Labissiere, he just responded, and that's when the refs see it.
Second personal foul.
So Labissiere just picked up a personal as well, and then the added technical, so he gets 2 fouls in that sequence.
The personal foul as he was blocking out Edwards. Edwards was aggressive going after it. And then the technical foul, Dave, came from the official underneath the basket, came sprinting out. So obviously something was said. Edwards kind of challenged the freshman a little bit and got out of there. Look at the block out there. They're going to call a foul. Now Edwards challenges a freshman, and here comes a second thing that really, to me, wasn't much when the official from the top side came in.
Well, Edwards misses the front end.
You know, it seemed to be quite small what was said or done, because Edwards had said something initially. Labissiere just responded, as most would respond, with a quick word or two. And I was surprised the official came in that quickly and gave it to him.
Well, I think it started down here. They wanted to get control of it.
You're right.
On the other end of the floor, they got into a little bit of a, confrontation, if you will. By the way, with the technical, that is now 3 fouls on Labissiere, so he will sit for a moment. And I don't think Coach Calipari's too concerned. He wants a little fight in his club.
Yeah, he does. He wants a little fight in his club. And when you get a whistle going against you, you get a little fight, especially from your older guys. Lee with a good block, Poythress against solid defensively.
Mulder with a good play defensively. Let's see if Ulis can get it going.
The matchup the last 4 minutes has been Obasahan and Ulis guarding each other. Obasahan much stronger, but Ulis quicker, can bother his strength. It's really quite interesting to watch.
Obasahan right down the lane.
Plus Obasahan has a little quickness. And with Murray on the sideline ready to check in, where does Kentucky go for shots? Briscoe good off the dribble.
That one was blocked by Austin. 9 on the shot clock.
Brandon Austin, the freshman, did not play against Ole Miss. Has had a couple solid moments this season. Played well against Winthrop. Terrific athlete, can shoot it, can score. And you saw his athletic ability right there.
Ulis too strong. Hall saves it to Edwards. Partially blocked by Poythress. Murray. Ulis. Turnover, Kentucky.
You know, unforced turnover. You know, they had him in the corner. Kind of lobbed the pass, couldn't time it to catch it. Got a bucket on the other end.
Wide open Murray.
All right, simply put, defensively, offensively, if one of your teammates takes a shot, you better get back on the other end.
Brett Obasahan has been a man on a mission the last few games, averaging 18 over that stretch, having a solid season. But Murray, the freshman, cherry picking for the throwdown. Greg and Kaylee break down the game for SEC Nation. 8:30, Feinbaum Film Room is back as Paul Zagais break the game down live and take calls from the fans. Catch all the stuff. Watch ESPN app and ESPN app. Hey, don't forget that these clubs actually met back in December 13th at Clemson. The Tide led by 9 early in the game, but Clemson came storming back. Clemson actually had a chance. They took the lead 25 seconds to play, but on that jumper. But then Shannon Hale would come up with the steal late. 51-50. Alabama would win on the road. A big win for Avery Johnson's club. You start thinking about some of the wins. Wichita State, Notre Dame. I mean, this has been a club that early on people were kind of like wondering what was going to happen. There wasn't a lot of pop, pizzazz. You start winning games like that, throwing some big non-conference wins, and all of a sudden you're on the map.
Yeah, you become you know, an early bubble team for the NCAA tournament and a team that can compete in this SEC league. And everywhere you go, they talk Avery Johnson, the job he's done. Different coaches in this league talk about the job Avery Johnson has done.
On the shot clock. Coleman, little floater from 25 feet.
Sometimes when your jumper's not going, and he has struggled this year most of the time shooting the ball. Shot clock runs down. They had him cornered. And the smallest man on the floor jumped up, knocked it in.
Nice little shot in a game of horse. Murray. That one's off the mark. Poythress and Riley Norris kind of chirping at each other a little bit.
Well, we said it earlier. I think Poythress has become sheriff, right, of the whole court. He's kind of run the show, and not only for his team, but he's kind of trying to help the officials out a bit. Good ball movement. Ooh. Obasa shaking his head because he had a shot.
Wow. Taylor, he traveled. Avery Johnson told us today he really, really wanted Jimmy Taylor to become more of a presence rebounding the basketball. Felt it disappeared Thursday night. He gets the rebound and then
and there was the aggressive play when he gets the rebound, but he's got springs. Just go right back up. I was here in the Winthrop game. He had 14 points. He did that. Now it was a much smaller team, not athletic team in Winthrop, but he just went right back up where it went to the rim.
Count the basket. Poythress going right back to the free throw line.
Dave, you're going to see more ball screens for Briscoe today because of the solidness of his body. He's big and strong, and so at shoot-around, they decided, let's put it in his hands. Let's run the pick and roll, because Coach Cal felt Alabama's big guys couldn't shuffle and move with Briscoe off the dribble or bump him because of his size. That time he made the move, gave it to teammate Poythress for the bucket.
It's a little better game for Alex already tonight.
Yeah.
7 point, make it 8 now. He's doubled his scoring from Tuesday night against LSU. So Poythress and Murray have scored. They have scored all the points for Kentucky. Obasa high.
Ulis so good with his feet.
Edwards.
Got to make those. Home building, got to make them. Ulis so good with his feet, Coleman can't get them into things offensively.
Ooh, how quick is Ulis? Got some oohs and ahs from the Alabama fans inside Coleman Coliseum. Foul underneath, and that will go against Coleman.
Yeah, we talked to Avery Johnson this morning, and you could see the twinkle in his eye when we mentioned Tyler Ulis, right? He obviously understands the size thing, how a true point guard runs the show. Avery Johnson, one of the good ones, and very good one, long NBA career, but he said Tyler Ulis is tough. People have tried to do things to him, doesn't work. All he said is we want to give him different looks. Might be man, might be zone, just change some things up.
Another foul on Coleman. That'll be the second on Coleman. And that'll now be a 1-on-1 situation. And Ulis will step to the free throw line.
And I thought Avery Johnson he was looking and said, you know, my guy, Justin Coleman, only a sophomore, can learn a few things from Ulis. Learn how to do the things that he does at his size with his team.
No good. Rebound to Taylor.
Dave, Avery Johnson has really been telling his team they have to use the pick and roll more. He said he thinks he can have a lot more success in this game with the pick and roll. And also, you guys talking about the Obasahan-Tyler Ulis matchup earlier. Dave, I'll get it back to you.
Thanks. We're going to say tie up there, Lauren. Arrow favors Kentucky. Crowd doesn't like it, obviously.
Well, we talked about Jimmy Taylor being more aggressive. Here's what happens when you're not a confident offensive player. Now all of a sudden you got one blocked or a tie-up. It doesn't help your confidence. And people at home think it's easy for big guys just to go in and make a play. There are big guys in the way. Jimmy Taylor, outstanding block.
Briscoe right down the lane.
Another block.
Edwards comes up with the basketball.
I think Taylor got a piece of Briscoe's shot.
Obasahan, he's fouled. Boy, this has become a very physical basketball.
6'2", 210 pounds, and he's aggressive and he attacks. That's why it's difficult to defend Obasahan.
The Obasahan and Ulis matchup, like I was telling you guys before, Obasahan told me earlier today that he wanted a chance at Ulis, but he understood the advantage of mixing up defenses. He related it to what they did against Ole Miss's Stephon Moody, the leading scorer in the league. And he said mixing up those defenses and also bringing single and double coverage can do a lot. He knew why they would need to do that against Tyler Ulis tonight.
I just don't know how you really guard a guy like Ulis. If you try to double him, he's such a good dribbler and so quick he can dribble out of the trouble.
Yeah, it's hard to bring size against him because you're right. You've got to have a guy sit down. But what Avery Johnson and what Laura said was the fact of just give him different looks. Just make him have to think about what he wants to run and get his team into. And if it takes him 5 or 6 extra seconds, that's less time they have to run a play. And when he doesn't have the ball, don't let him get it back. Make someone else run a play for Kentucky.
That's what they're doing right now. Murray's trying to create, and Edwards fouls him 25 feet from the basket.
Edwards did not move his feet. Did not move him at all. Looked tired. Didn't slide with him.
Second personal foul. Alabama's 18 foul.
We talked about Murray's ability off the shot and his ability off the dribble, and Edwards just stuck. Once you get squared up, if you're the offensive player, you got to defend. You can go either way. If your defender's feet are square, shoulders are square, they're in trouble if you're a good offensive player.
The reward for Murray is free throws. And Murray pretty good at the line this year at 75%.
Well, two teams, when you get into conference play, I always thought Mike Anderson of Arkansas said it best. Now you're dealing with family. You know everything about each other. Right. You know the goods and the bads. These are two teams tonight shooting 31% from the field. I mean, it's a battle because you have two outstanding defensive teams.
I'm just wondering when somebody else is going to score for Kentucky besides Murray and Poythress. They have every single point. Murray now has a dozen. Poythress just checks back into the game for Marcus Lee. Poythress with 8. It has not been pretty. Hey, how about South Carolina?
Wow.
Staying undefeated, beating Vanderbilt tonight.
You know, they're good. Obviously, you beat a Vandy team. I thought the Memphis game was the challenge, but they knocked them off. They are solid. Frank's got them going good. Another defensive team that finally this year can score. Good backdoor cut.
Obasahan hanging in the air.
Strong.
Poythress heading back to the line. Alex Poythress, a different guy. He'll head back to the line. But how about Retno Obasahan? We talked about being an athlete. My goodness. We talked it was going to be quite the physical affair tonight here just because of the way Kentucky's practiced this week in the challenge by their coach. We've seen it.
And Avery Johnson told his players that Kentucky's going to come in here because they didn't play so well against LSU. They're going to be physical. We've got to respond. And they have. This game hasn't been pretty, but that's understandable when you get in a type of situation like this.
Pascal Labissiere has picked up 3 fouls, really 2 fouls and a technical. He has not played much at all tonight. The freshman for Kentucky has played a total of 3 minutes. You see Kentucky last year, of this season, excuse me, in their 11 wins and what they've done, they've dominated the backcourt. And when they lose, it's the complete opposite. It's pretty obvious what goes well for them when they have success.
Yeah, and they, they understand it, and they're trying to find ways to plug in consistently, night in, night out. How can they be better? And this is a game you talked about. Murray with 12, and Poythress with 8. That's all their points. Well, on the other end, Obasahan has 10 of the 16. I mean, it's tough to get a bucket, and you've got to be physically tough to finish plays. And really, Poythress, Obasahan, and Murray are the guys tough enough to finish plays because their offensive skills are good.
Poythress, young man who graduated in 3 years, working on his master's right now. Coming off that ACL from a year ago, where he missed 28 games down the stretch for the Cats. Averaged 11 points as a freshman. People thought the sky was the limit, but due to a variety of reasons, just never really exploded. And it has been a unique ride for Alex.
Yeah, I think so. The consistency on the offensive end has always been the question for him, and the tough part. Doesn't shoot it quite well enough, but defensively he's outstanding, and they need him night in, night out for this Kentucky team to excel to the highest level.
Obasahan back to Hale. Shot clock is at 5. They better do something here. Hale working on Willis. Shot clock violation. Hale just held the ball for 10 seconds.
Yeah, and a smart play at the end, though. He put it on the floor to be aggressive, and it almost looked like he had turned the corner and could get to the basket on Willis, but then Poythress changed his shot. Couldn't get. Here comes Alex. Would have been a block. He threw it up high. Shot clock goes out.
6-point lead for the Cats. Murray. Matthews can't convert. Hale lines it up. Left it short. Norris had his hands on it. Ulis. Too strong. Rebound. Poythress lays it up and in.
Dave, it's like a football game. You got a lot of 3rd and 8 situations. No one can get a first down. No one can get a drive going, right? You're waiting for someone to get on a roll. It's the same guys on both ends, but it's about every 2 or 3 minutes later.
I mean, this is nuts that Murray and Poythress have all 24 of Kentucky's points. Hey, Monday, tune into the SEC ESPN Network for all the coverage you'll need of the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T between the Tide and Clemson. At 6 Eastern, Joe, Paul, Tim, Marcus, Greg, and Kaylee break down the game. We're SEC Nation, 8:30 at the Feinbaum Film Room. Paul and the guys break down the game live and take calls from fans. Then at midnight, SEC Now wraps up the game with highlights, analysis, and interviews, all streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
Dave, you mentioned South Carolina. On the other end, how about Vanderbilt? They're picked 2nd in the league, maybe to challenge for a title. They're 0-3 and searching now. When you lose 3 in a row, they're searching. They're talking to themselves on the court. The players are.
Hall gets 1 out of 2. Murray will back it out. Poythress sets the screen to the basket. Classic pick and roll, and he'll head back to the free throw line.
The quickness of Alex Poythress, that time received the bounce pass, but his ability as an athlete to cut and glide and move so he doesn't charge over guy. He doesn't run over people.
Poythress with 13 points and 4 rebounds. He had 4 points, 4 rebounds on Tuesday.
So Alabama gets in their offense in roughly 16 seconds in the shot clock. That's what Kentucky has done, is pushed them out of everything. And then they rely on really one-on-one or a pick and roll to try to get a shot.
Up ahead to Murray. Chased down by Hall.
Nice play. Good body control by Murray. Cut off the bigger defender, Hall. And Avery Johnson thought Obasahan got hit on his shot on the other end.
Largest lead of the game.
Nice.
There's a foul. Marcus Lee hits Obasahan.
Now Kentucky talked about the fact if they rebound anything tonight, get out and run, push and attack, and make Alabama run back defensively. Coach Cal just thought his big guys could outrun the Alabama big guys.
Kentucky's +7 in rebound margin tonight. Obasahan, 68% foul shooter.
I'll tell you the challenge here for Avery Johnson when Obasahan wants to guard Tyler Ulis. It takes so much out of you on the defensive end that how much do you have offensively?
Poythress.
And John Calipari just stood up and yelled to a couple of his guys, you've got to start screening better. He yelled at his guys today at shoot-around that they missed 52 screens on the offensive end against LSU. Missed them. They didn't set screens when they ran the offense.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Staggering.
Yeah. He said we set 17 and we missed 52, guys. I think Briscoe is really solid defensively.
Once again, shot clock dips under 5 seconds. Off the front of the rim. Willis will chase it down. How many times have we seen the shot clock get under 5 seconds tonight for Alabama? Offensive foul.
You know, Kentucky has used their full court token pressure in that way. They have slowed Alabama from running stuff. There's Obasahan with his good feet. Pretty easy call for the official. Just slide. You can be moving. Just slide. The guy, if an offensive player lowers that shoulder and dips in, it's pretty easy call for the official.
Jimmy Taylor will check in for Dante Hall.
Keep track, Dave, again, of watch Alabama bring the ball to the floor, and Kentucky rarely has trapped tonight. They've just really softened it up. Alabama gets across, and they try to run a play, and then it becomes difficult.
Coleman just having a heck of a job trying to get around Ulis. They do get the switch now. Coleman trying to work around Willis. Obasahan, offensive foul.
Almost the same call, wasn't it? Yeah. From the other end. Watch him come in, watch his shoulder lower, and then the extension of the left arm. And again, it's pretty easy for an official.
Ulis.
Nice. He got Coleman off. They've run the pick and roll about 4 straight times where he's made the pass. Coleman went to play that pass.
I mean, if you got a couple of guys that can run the pick and roll, it is so hard to fix up.
Yeah.
Taylor. We'll head to the free throw line when we come back. Kentucky kind of forcing their will on Alabama. They lead it by 11. Thank you, Maria. Look at our headlines from around the SEC, and you know the league went out and scheduled some heavyweights, and it's paid off with the strength of schedule. South Carolina and SMU, the only unbeaten. South Carolina stretches it out to 15-0 after a big win at home. Huge crowd today over in Columbia.
Sanders Thornwell had 19, and, you know, he's a different player this year. He's healthier, he moves better, he can attack. This is a much better offensive team than they've been under Frank Martin. We know they've been good defensively, but the maturity of all their players, how to play, the speed at which they attack on the offensive end, and they've got enough guys that can score the ball.
Can't say enough about Texas A&M as well. They were down double figures on the road at Tennessee, and they came back and found a way in the last 2 minutes to win that one.
2 road wins this week.
Yeah.
They win the one at Mississippi State, which they could have easily lost. Outstanding down the stretch, and again, Tennessee played great. And lo and behold, A&M hangs in. And when you have House and Jones, 2 guys that probably, I think, will be in the NBA, you got a chance to win any game.
I really like Jalen Jones. He is such a mismatch for teams in his size.
Yeah, and Daniel House is a guy that I think he's a 2-guard in the NBA because he can score going left, going right, jump shot either way.
Taylor at the free throw line. We were talking to Avery, Coach Johnson today at shoot around. He talked about that game last year when Texas A&M hosted Kentucky. Great game, double overtime. He was in the stands. His son Avery Johnson Jr. was at Texas A&M at the time. He transferred here to Alabama, sitting out this year as a transfer, and he said it was a great game. Loved it.
I loved how he said we.
Yeah,
we couldn't stop him. We had a chance. We had a chance.
That was awesome.
And he said Ulis made the one.
That was right after Kentucky went to overtime against Ole Miss in the SEC opener.
They had some battles there. Ulis knock it in, and you think of that great Kentucky team last year. How many close calls, but undefeated all the way until the end of the year. They got to the Final Four. And go back and think, okay, what do they lose? They lose the Harrison twins, Booker, Dakari Johnson, Trey Lyles, Karl Anthony Towns. But really, the guy that made it all work, Willie Cauley-Stein. I mean, that's just a freak show of talent that left Kentucky.
Norris.
Guys, Coach Cal really talking about the 2-man game between Tyler Ulis and Alex Poythress, saying that they need to keep creating spacing so they can get it to Poythress off the pick and roll. He's got to have a lane to the basket. He's liked what they've done there, but he thinks they can do more.
There's no question, Laura. I mean, here they are. They're trying to run it again. I mean, it's almost unstoppable. When those two are clicking and you got a guy like Ulis, how do you guard that?
Well, here's the thing. You got Jimmy Taylor, who his mobility isn't comfortable guarding Poythress when he sets a screen that far away from the rim. That's pretty good timing. Let's get Laura back in that huddle.
Yeah, way to go, Laura. I mean, that is a clinic on a pick and roll, folks.
Yeah, it really is. And your quickness of your point guards got to stretch it far enough. Watch him come and attack. And Jimmy Taylor's caught in no man's land. Does he pick it up? Because remember last time Ulis made the shot.
Exactly.
Here's the bounce pass, and here's the finish. They're going to have to rotate a lower guy more quickly, but then that leaves the guy over in the corner open.
Every time I watch Ulis play, I just get more and more impressed. And, you know, the story's been told he wears number 3, just idolizes Allen Iverson. And the more you watch him play and the more you think of Iverson's type and style of play.
Yeah, you really do. And again, the compliment Avery Johnson said, because you asked, are you going to try to double? Are you going to get physical? Are you going to get? And Avery looked and go, hey, he's taken all challenges on.
Yeah.
And he's handled everything. I mean, Avery Johnson thought the discussion today was like, there may not be a better point guard in the country than the kid right there, number 3.
Here's the double. They're trying it now. Somebody's going to be open somewhere. Poythress.
Wow.
See, these are the moments that make you go, wow, with Alex Poythress.
Yeah. Again, let's go back to LSU. And when Kentucky loses a game, really all Blue Nation in the country starts going, what's wrong with them? And Alex Poythress had to hear it for a few days. And as a senior, you don't want to hear this stuff. And now he guards Obasahan one-on-one from top of the key. They can move his feet.
17 points for Poythress here in the opening half.
What a great athlete, what great body control, and you see it there on the one end offensively. And defensively, he just took Alabama's best player from the top of the key one-on-one and just shut him down.
I mean, 31 points for Poythress and Murray. 14 for Murray and 17 for Poythress. It has just been one of those nights for Alex Poythress. So far, so good if you're Kentucky. Hey, Wednesday night, we've got an SEC ESPN Network double dip coming your way. First at 7. High-scoring Kevin Punter leads Tennessee's up-tempo offense against Georgia's four-headed monster of Maton, Mann, Frazier, and Gaines. Then at 9, Frank Martin in the 22nd-ranked South Carolina balanced attack travel in to this building right here, Coleman Coliseum, to face this Alabama team. Both games are streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. There are the undefeateds. I mean, there are very similar numbers.
Yeah, Larry Brown's team is outstanding. He missed the first few games. Tim Jankovich took over as head coach, now the assistant. Former outstanding player many years ago at Kansas State.
And Jankovich also sat on the bench under Kevin Stallings for a while as assistant coach.
Good play by Briscoe, getting to the paint, drawing the defense.
Mulder knocking home the 3.
There's so much focus now from the Alabama defense on where Ulis is and where is Poythress. That teammates should find openings, and Briscoe took advantage.
Mulder, exceptional three-point shooter at junior college, 46%. Norris, Abasahan, Hale slips. Norris right there, fouled and counted. Boy, Alabama needed something to go right for him, and maybe that's it.
I'd say this, as aggressive as Kentucky is when they rotate, Obasahan, a ball fake might get them moving one way. There's the fall down, but Riley Norris has been pretty aggressive off the bench. He's made a couple terrific plays. This one fell in his lap, but again, being aggressive around the rim and then finishing.
Norris converts. 13-point game, 45 seconds to go before the break. Kentucky shooting 46% from the field. They've held Alabama to 36%. Here's Poythress working on Hall. They got a knee right above his own knee.
Tried to step through, and that right thigh looked like it took a knee.
As well, this is Alex Poythress for Kentucky.
Watch him try to step through right there.
Ross and Schaefer, the walk-off from Coleman, Alabama, will check in for Alabama for a moment here as Poythress walking off the floor for a moment. Final 30 seconds.
I'll tell you what, Briscoe is so solid defensively.
Well, he is something else, isn't he? Obasahan. Wow. Step back 3.
Yeah. And Alabama needed that to end the half.
Ulis, 1 second, won't go. Wave it off. Boy, Alabama with a nice little run here to cut it to 10, but a good first half for Kentucky. Murray with a big first half with 14. Poythress with 17 and 4. Let's go to Laura.
Thanks, Dave. Coach Alex Poythress with 17 points in the first half. What can you say about what this team looks like when he's performing like that?
Well, he and Marcus Lee both are playing well. We're a different team. You know, we need him now in the second half. It's a 16-point game, and we don't come up with a ball under the basket that's in our hands. We deserve this. Now we're in a dogfight.
You wanted your guys to start screening better. How have they done with that?
Much better. Much better.
Thanks, Coach.
A little frustrating. Watch that lead dwindle down. Had a chance to put their foot on the gas. 38-28 our score at the halftime. To get you to the State Farm halftime report, here's Maria Taylor and the boys. And welcome back to SEC Network Basketball. 9th-ranked Kentucky up by 10 over the Alabama Crimson Tide. Both teams trying to get back to their winning ways after midweek losses as we are in full swing in Southeastern Conference play. Dave Neal back alongside my Missouri All-American guard, John Sunvold. And John, I guess Coach Cal wanted some energy from his guys, and certainly he got it in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, he really did. They were more aggressive. They rebounded the ball well, especially on the offensive end. Defensively, it was outstanding. Alabama had few good looks in that first half.
We talked about Alex Poythress and Marcus Lee at the top of the show, and really it was the Alex Poythress show in the first half.
Yeah, it was 17 points, 4 rebounds, a couple blocks, a couple steals. He was aggressive, and Alabama had a hard time just containing him around the rim. And when Kentucky went to the pick and roll, he was dynamite, and the ability to score in various ways around the rim was terrific.
Well, the combination of Murray and Poythress, dynamite. 31 of Alabama's 38 points. I think at one point they had 26 of their 26 before somebody else got into the action. Just a dynamite performance. In Kentucky, when you go back, it kind of makes you scratch your head what happened in Baton Rouge. Just amazing when you look at the numbers. Minus 14 rebound margin, plus 10 tonight. Now 20 more minutes of basketball to play. We'll see. Laura, what do you got on Alabama?
Well, Dave, Avery Johnson said the biggest thing is they have to take care of the ball. And as John said, he didn't like the way that they handled Alex Poythress. He said, Poythress, they've got to be better with him inside. He said his second jump is killing them. Also, look for Alabama to play a little more zone. He thinks that that would help them make Kentucky beat him over the top.
All right, we'll see how that plays out here. Edwards, who was very quiet, starts the second half with a 3, top of the key.
His first bucket, he was 0-3 in the first half, 0-2 on the three-point line, so that's a good start. Their second leading scorer on this team.
Yeah, he had double figures in the first half at Ole Miss on Thursday night.
And as Coach Cal mentioned, this team was up 16, Kentucky was. Now it's a 7-point game.
Briscoe backs it out to Ulis. Lee spins.
They got Coleman on the switch. Ulis saw it. Briscoe saw it. All they had to do was get Lee in position. Good pass, good finish.
Obasahan, solid first half, 14 points, 5 of 8 from the field. Edwards gets a screen. We'll try it again from the same spot. Won't go. There's Taylor held by. Oh, they're going to say the foul against Taylor?
Well, watch when Lee goes inside small. I mean, Coleman could do nothing and it turned quick. You know, on the offensive end for Alabama, there was a switch, and Murray had a solid block up. And Taylor just shoved him right into the bucket.
Taylor cannot block the shot of Poythress, and Alex continues 19 now.
So that time, the guys defensively, they slid with the point guard. They brought a big guy from the weak side, Taylor, to see if he could challenge at the rim, but he was too late.
Here's Taylor.
And Dave, like more NBA fashion, Kentucky just keeps running the same play till Alabama solves it. More done at the NBA level than collegiately level.
Good sign to get Taylor some offense. His first basket. Nice. Lee. Fouled by Hale.
You know, this is the type of things that this Alabama coaching staff is trying to get Jimmy Taylor to be patient, but to be in an attack mode. But again, what's difficult when you're 6'10" in attack mode? He only shoots 39% from the free throw line, so it limits your aggressiveness to want to draw contact and get to the foul line.
Marcus Lee, 42% at the free throw line. A couple of guys on this team just having a real tough time shooting free throws. Lee's one of them. The other one is Isaiah Briscoe. 35% on the year.
Obviously becomes, Lee's got a pretty good release. It becomes just a mental block that you don't want to be there. And when you're there, then it's just hopefully you're trying to hit rim.
Briscoe keeps it alive, gets it to Ulis. Nice crossover.
Obasahan staying down in front of Murray, knows he can make jump shots, can't get beat off the dribble.
Going to call a foul against Alabama. Avery Johnson, none too pleased with the results.
Edwards came over to help out, and when it was on the floor, Edwards thought he had a chance at the steal. And there's the reach. A lot of ball, but part of the arm. Probably worked out in Alabama's favor because Briscoe knocked in the three anyway. Good job by Coleman denying Ulis. Ulis will run baseline.
Shot clock at 7. Murray won't go. Taylor the rebound. Obasahan wide open.
This building is erupting in the fact that this Bama team is on a little bit of a roll.
Timeout on the floor. Alabama trying to make a run at the 9th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats. Red Obasahan doing all he can. 17 in the game. Back in a moment. Alabama's trailed by as many as 16 with about a minute and a half to go in the first half. They are now down by 6. Avery Johnson trying to work his magic here inside Coleman Coliseum. Rhett Obasahan with that last 3.
Well, the fact is defensively they've been better and causing misses, and at times Kentucky's not getting back, and you cannot allow the best player on the opposition to be that wide open. And that's the first focal point you'd be defensively, getting back to get to Obasahan.
Obasahan has hit 3 of 3 from behind the arc, and he has been the man for the Crimson Tide. Nobody else has more than 5 points for Alabama. That's Riley Norris. Let's go get an update with Laura. Laura?
Dave, Rhett Obasahan always speaks to the team right before they come out of halftime, and he did it again just now before this half, telling them, let's show them what we're all about. Don't let them beat us. This is our house, saying, I'll do my part. You guys do your part. And guys, Avery Johnson telling us earlier today that the first 5 to 7 minutes of the second half has been Alabama's Achilles heel. So far, they're riding some momentum.
See if this crowd can't give them a little bit of push. Remember, just 43 hours since they last played. Quick turnaround for Alabama.
And what language does Obasahan speak to him in? He speaks 4 languages, so he could do some confusion at times. Surprise, surprise. Who comes back in the game, gets a bucket, touches. What a night.
21 points for Poythress, 7 of 8 from the floor. That snaps the Alabama run. It was 14-4. Tide had hit 5 of the last 6 shots. But Poythress, been a good week of practice, I suppose, for Alex, or a bad week, depending on how you look at it.
Well, there's no doubt as a senior when you play on a Tuesday night and you've got to wait all the way to Saturday to redeem yourself, and you get to read, and you don't try to read everything, but you're going to hear it, especially in Big Blue Nation. And the coach is going to remind you every practice, every session.
Hale kicks it back out. Edwards fouled. He'll have 3 free throws coming up. Chance for Alabama to pick up 3 free ones when we come back. Hey, Monday, tune in to the SEC ESPN Network for all the coverage you'll need of the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. You know who's playing in that game, by the way?
No, who's in this?
Okay, I'll tell you. Alabama and Clemson, if you didn't know. Oh, okay. At 6 Eastern, Joe Paul, Tim, Marcus, Greg, and Kaylee will break down the game for SEC Nation. At 8:30, Feinbaum Film Room is back as Paul and the guys break the game down live and take calls from fans. Did it at midnight. SEC Now wraps up the game with highlights, analysis, and interviews. All shows are streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN.
So that's the game they're talking about, and we're not pulled into Tuscaloosa County.
Right. That's why there weren't a whole lot of people here.
That's correct.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. Jamal Murray, 14 points. Well, he was the guy early in the game. He got it going for Kentucky, but he now has 3 fouls. We'll see how Cal manages him.
Yeah, he had 12 points in the first 12 minutes of the game. And Poythress, this is where he got kneed. He went off for 30 seconds left in a half, came back out, hit the first bucket of the second half, then came out, getting rubbed on, came back in, got the ball again, made the first bucket when he touched it.
24 and 4, 7 of 8 from the field. You know, I say it again, it's nights like these that make you scratch your head about nights like LSU. He has just been a dominant factor. And it looks like he's still kind of favoring that leg a little bit after the collision in the paint right before the half. Edwards at the line. He has 3 free throws coming up.
You know, we know that LSU team, though, the potential they have and really the size and the ability they have when they play well can make it tough on any type of play.
But how do you dominate Kentucky like you did and then go on the road and lose to Florida today?
I can't answer that.
Yeah,
I mean that's the hard part about LSU. I mean, they have had some losses, especially in non-conference, that you just were shocked about. In conference, going on the road, we know is not easy. And the Florida team has been pretty good, awfully good at home. Boy, how tough is it to pressure Ulis full court?
Almost impossible. Rejected underneath, trying the alley-oop to Poythress.
And momentum on Alabama's side. A bucket here.
Coleman for 3.
You know, when you need a possession as a point guard, lead guard, you've got to figure out how to get the best shot and which guy should get that shot where. And the point guard for Kentucky understands it a little bit better than the point guard from Alabama. That was a terrific pass by Ulis. Lee just couldn't get it in. He's drawn attention. The bounce pass. Lee gets slapped, and that one's halfway down and out.
But if you're going to foul somebody, right, Marcus Lee might be the guy you want to send to the line.
And here's the reaction Coach Cal had when that ball didn't go in when he drew the contact. And Lee struggling for the free throw line. He's got so many moving body parts.
You see Laura in the background? She got a little scared just then.
So Lee's knees go deep. They come up. The body stops. Then the arms go. He could have less knee bend because he's strong enough. I could put it in one hand. He could turn around and he could shoot it. And there's too much knee bend. There's too much body stops. There's no momentum going up. And then his confidence. Good challenge again, Briscoe. I think he's terrific defensively on the ball. Obasahan will keep moving, try to find some openings.
Hale sets a screen. Coleman gets it to Obasahan.
Physical player Obasahan when he gets it in the block area.
Red, little floater won't go. Oh, the follow. Oh, Jimmy Taylor.
Quit talking about me, Dave Neal, as though I can't finish.
Poythress. Blocked by Taylor. They're going to count it. Close to goaltending.
How aggressive, though, are the Wildcats around the rim? And one of the Achilles heels for this Bama team also is that they've given up too many offensive rebounds in a lot of their games that they've lost.
Obasahan, crossover, drew the foul. He'll head to the free throw line. Well, could this be a Sports Center top 10?
Jimmy Taylor right to you. Wow.
See, if you just hang around the rim, good things will happen, right?
Yes.
Obasahan at the free throw line.
You know, the best part, Jimmy Taylor, though, read the fact that Obasahan was probably going to shoot it. Yeah, he knew once he got in the low post, was working his way. He just had to find an avenue. You know, the challenge for Kentucky on the offensive end, Dave, is who really gets them buckets when they're in a half-court set. Obviously, you've got Murray that can come off screens. We've had Poythress really mostly inside. They've tried to run Ulis off the baseline to get him jump shots. Not been able to free up. They'll give it to Briscoe, and Ulis usually will go down and do some movement. Here comes Murray. Good step out by Taylor. He's got to get back.
Poythress foul.
So, Dave, Jimmy Taylor does a great job of hedging, but then he goes so far away from the bucket, he can't get back in time when Kentucky starts attacking. He does the right thing. He shuts down the dribbler, but he cannot get back into play, and there's too much pressure on the back end guys.
Now, the guard that's being doubled out here by midcourt, is that his job to get him further
Pull him
out?
back, yeah, pull him back, because what it did was open all the avenues. Once he swung the ball to Briscoe, who now goes to Poythress, there's not enough defenders in the back, because one of your big guys, Jimmy Taylor's too far away from the bucket.
Kessens will check back in. Hale to the bench. Alabama was down as many as 16 back in the first half. And there was that little 6-point mini run in the last minute by Alabama that first half. It was 38-22, and when Laura talked to Coach Cal going into the locker room, you could tell he was none too pleased about giving up those 6 points late in the half.
Because coaches know, right? It was 16 and it went to 10. He knew that momentum went Alabama's locker room. And basically you gave Alabama life. You're up 16. You keep them down. Good rebound by Lee.
Yeah.
Poythress has spent a lot of time on the floor.
Six-point game. Norris trying to chase Tyler Ulis around. Briscoe will pull up. That won't go. Another rebound by Kentucky. Oh, they're dominating the backboard here. They have now doubled up.
And what happened on the road for Alabama at Ole Miss, they gave up 15 offensive rebounds at Ole Miss. You were at that game. They couldn't secure some defensive stops.
Count the baskets. Briscoe heading to the line.
Has not been able to get the jump shot down, so the step through again, strong enough with his body and upper body to finish the play. Here's the drive, good off the dribble, the bump, gets it up off the window.
Briscoe at 35%. Can't convert, but hey, the way that Kentucky is rebounding, it's maybe not a bad thing when you miss a free throw. It's now 31-15 in the rebound department.
Another offensive possession. 13 offensive rebounds.
To 3.
Yeah. I was going to say Ulis has to like the matchup. He had Norris. And he had Hall on one side.
Oh, my goodness.
How about that?
Briscoe step back. High arching, nothing but net.
And what's it do for Kentucky if Briscoe can get his jump shot game going? Only a 19% shooter beyond the three-point line.
Kentucky, just like that. It was a 4-point game. You look up, and now it's 10. Briscoe, step back in your face. A lot of emotion in Coleman Coliseum. Two teams coming off midweek losses. Kentucky and Alabama. meeting for the 143rd time, a series that goes back to 1922. Full house inside this building that's been home to the Alabama Crimson Tide since 1968. 15,000 on hand. Don't forget, Monday, tune in to the SEC ESPN Network for all the coverage you'll need of the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T between Alabama and Clemson at 6 Eastern. Joe, Paul, Tim, Marcus, Greg, and Kaylee break down the game for SEC Nation. Then at 8:30, Feinbaum Film Room is back as Paul and the guys break down the game live and take calls from fans. Then at midnight, it's SEC Now. Wraps up the game with highlights, analysis, and interviews. All shows streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. All right, let me put your coaching cap on for a minute. Alabama cut it to 4. You had some life in the building. Now it's a 10-point game. If you're Avery Johnson, where do you go to try to get a bucket right now?
Well, you got to go back. You've got Edwards back in the game. He's got to be aggressive because Obasahan is out. Surprisingly, I'm going to say Brandon Austin, the freshman. Not that he has to shoot it, but he's not bashful to shoot it, and he's aggressive with the ball. He'll attack. Shannon Hale's got to make his presence felt again. He's got to be part of it.
Got a switch. Willis guarding Coleman. Coleman pulls up for another long jumper. Can't convert. And out of bounds. It'll belong to Alabama. So a break for the Crimson Tide. Marcus Lee got a little pop in the nose. That's the kind of night it's been in here. Another quick shot. Ulis gets popped and a foul against Hale. Let's get an update from Laura.
Guys, Coach Calipari is still telling his guys that they're setting ball screens well. He told us that at halftime, but he said they've got to keep setting good screens. Also telling the big guys to get inside and finish. He wants them, if they get inside, to go ahead and dunk.
You know, it goes back to being kind of that mentality he's looking for. Being physical, being dominant.
11:44 left in this game, and Kentucky will be shooting free throws the rest of the way. Ulis misses that front end. And Lee chasing it down, knocks Obasahan out with a foul. Aggressive hustle, contact. It didn't take long for Avery Johnson to get Obasahan back in the line.
Avery Johnson has said that with this team offensively, they just don't have that aircraft carrier, that guy. Kessings mistimed his jump. Lee takes it out of his hands.
Kessings had it's got to be stronger with it. And he mistimed the jump so you don't get the tip, but he did have the ball.
Briscoe.
So good off that dribble. Should have finished it, I think, on this left side.
Coleman. Edwards.
Nice step. Give Jimmy Taylor an assist because he almost set a screen inadvertently.
Right.
Cleaned out about 2 guys. And do we go back to the pick and roll for Kentucky? Ulis and Poythress on the same side so they can do some work. Here they are. Jimmy Taylor playing center field in the back.
Alabama played the pick and roll well, but they went to option 3.
Well, so Jimmy Taylor slides over weak side to be the backside of the pick and roll. When his guy Marcus Lee steps right inside, good play by Ulis. So Marcus Lee just has to finish about a 4 or 5 footer.
Obasahan. Kessings. Kessings only 2 3-point attempts all year. Briscoe at the elbow.
How about his confidence? He made the 2 inside, the 2 or 3 on the step back, now the 2 there. And most of it off the dribble with his left hand.
Now with 6.
Bad foul.
This is the first personal foul. Kentucky's 14th foul.
Norris will check in. Kessens to the bench.
So you had a 4-point game. Alabama's inability to keep Kentucky off the glass, and then to be really their inefficiency on this offensive end. How do you get a bucket? Who gets you a bucket? When you're in a half-court set and you're playing an outstanding defensive team.
Coleman. That's short. All kinds of bodies colliding underneath.
So Ulis is blocking out Jimmy Taylor. There's a switch. So all you do if you're a small guard in the world of big men is block out as best you can, grab and hang on. And big guys usually just try to push little guys out of the way.
The foul was on Jimmy Taylor. That'll send Ulis to the free throw line.
So there's a switch, and Ulis is just hanging on. And they pick him up.
Oh, my goodness. How about that? It just picked him up. And now our officials are going to look at the monitor.
Well, and I'm trying to, again, what are they trying to decide? He picked him up. And now are they trying to, they want to see if it's a flagrant on Jimmy Taylor. But I'm not sure what part.
Well, Ulis was kind of holding on to him.
He was. What you would as your little guy. Again, that's what you do. You just hang on. Your job's to keep him away. And big guys are just trying to shove you down. So there's the hold. And Jimmy's thinking, you know, I got to move the little mosquito away because I just need to go in and rebound. But I don't think there's that flagrant. That's just a foul. And Ulis will go back to the free throw line where he missed the front end last time.
Jimmy Taylor, 6'10", 250. Tyler Ulis goes 5'9", 160. I'm thinking Jimmy Taylor probably bench presses.
Like I said, he's just picking him up like a gnat. I just want to move him. I just want to move him out of the way. Get move out of the way,
I'm
kid.
tired of him. That's what she said. I'm tired of you.
You grab my knees out of you. Can't see you down there.
Ulis at the line. Converts the free throw. Ulis, 87%. Fourth in the conference in free throw percentage. First in minutes played.
Coming off of 3 straight 20-point games. 21 against Louisville. 20 Ole Miss. 23 at LSU.
Probably not going to get there tonight. Now just 5 points. Does have 8 assists, however.
Now he will use his speed and quickness to bother Obasahan out front. Obasahan wants to get it to the lane to use his strength. Good pass. Must make.
Edwards trying to get the rebound. Kept it alive for Norris.
Edwards kept it alive. Went over the top and kept it alive. And Riley Norris has had a couple putbacks tonight that have fallen into his lap, but he finished. Lee with a touch. And it keeps Alabama in striking distance.
Riley Norris to shoot 1.
An 11-point game. 8:38 to play.
2-2-1. Full court pressure. Kentucky worked on this at shoot around, advance the ball, attack the rim. Let's see how much pressure they want to put it at the rim with Jimmy Taylor back there. Ulis so difficult to trap and defend in a full court situation. Matchup zone now 2-3. Murray, your best shooter from the outside. Ulis could knock him in. Briscoe hit one to the corner. That's why Murray, all of a sudden they went to zone, Dave, and Murray's pointing to everybody to get him where they want. Because he's a shooter, goes, I know where I can get my shot.
First points from Murray this half. Now a 16 in the game. Foul on Ulis out of the perimeter. Kentucky's lead is back out to 13, under 8 to play here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Hey, Wednesday night right here on the SEC ESPN Network. Got a college basketball double dip for you. First at 7, high-scoring Kevin Punter. He's been an exciting player this year for Tennessee as they bring their up-tempo offense to Athens to take on Georgia's four-headed monster of Maton, Mann, Frazier, and Gaines. Then at 9, Frank Martin and the undefeated 15-0, 22nd-ranked South Carolina Gamecocks. They'll come right here to Tuscaloosa to face this Alabama club. Both games streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Full house here in Coleman Coliseum. 7:50 to play in this game. 60-47 our score. Kentucky up by 13. Really from the opening tap, this has been a physical affair. Obasahan.
Ouch.
We'll have a mark. That'll leave a mark.
Yeah, that'll leave a mark. That conference play, partner. It's tough. It's physical. You got to be ready for it.
Ulis, you talked about his 20-point stretch tonight, 6 points, but he's done it other ways with 8. Obasahan with 19 points. Alabama's come out here in the second half, has done a nice job defending that pick and roll that was so effective in the first half. But Kentucky's gone elsewhere for their points. Briscoe stepped up. He's got 6 points this half. Poythress, though, having a great night. 23 points, matching his career high. 5 rebounds.
It has been the 14 offensive rebounds that have really, it's 6 of them this second half, that once Alabama got to within 4 points, they gave up too many chances for Kentucky to score.
Guys, Avery Johnson in the Alabama huddle telling them just now, we're now at a crucial time in this game. We cannot let Kentucky impose their will further. We have to step up now and get this back in reach.
Well, good start to that with Obasahan heading to the line. That foul on Murray. Foul on, change that to Derek Willis. That'll be his second. Marcus Lee has 4. Revisier has 3 and hasn't played much at all tonight for Kentucky.
Matchup zone again, last possession. Murray got it where he wanted to, took it baseline for the jump shot.
Briscoe stops, floats, count it.
What a second half Briscoe's had on the offensive end.
He was a non-factor the first time.
Well, he's been so good defensively at what he's had to do that offensively they didn't need him. But he's been great off the dribble and getting to the paint and finishing. And he's so good with the left hand, shifting. Reminds me a little bit of the old Syracuse type guards, Lawrence Moulton, Pearl Washington, the guys that were thick ball handlers that kind of got themselves to lane every time off the dribble. Yeah, creative.
Imagine the kind of point total he could have if he could shoot free throws. And a tough night for Edwards. Now 1 of 5 behind the arc, 2 of 8 overall.
Not effective in the zone. Back to the man there to stay and chase and Murray.
Moving screen on Alex Poythress and John Calipari. Unhappy with that because they have spent, as he told us, he goes, we spent 10 straight days setting screens.
It's one of the harder things to do in basketball because the shooter coming off, and I know what coaches say, just stand there, and a shooter, you got to run your guy in. But the guy guarding the shooter coming off is hold and grab it. So the offensive player's in a dead sprint, and that screener's trying to pick his guy off somehow. Very difficult.
Edwards.
Wow, right on.
That one goes down. Back to a 10-point game, 6:15 to play.
Only his second made three of the night. Now 2 of 6 beyond the three-point line.
Here's Briscoe inside. Ulis. Briscoe. Poythress. Alex Poythress with 25.
And the beat goes on for Poythress. No matter what the play's doing, if he catches, he's been able to make nearly every shot he's taken.
Norris. Whistle. He'll head to the free throw line.
You'll get Norris, right place, right time. He's aggressive, 6'7", always known as an outside shooter, but he's made some terrific plays. And that was an air ball. Obasaha, I think, got hit when he went up on the shot from the corner. But this Kentucky team has rarely put a body on Riley Norris or blocking him out. He's been able to slide in and creates a little bit of havoc around the rim.
Norris is an exceptional rebounder. You know, he finished his high school career as the second leading rebounder in the state of Alabama. He doesn't look like a guy that's going to go, but he's kind of shifty where he.
And when he got to this level, what you look for, he's really a spot-up type shooter. But you forget about, because he knows how to rebound, the opponents usually don't put enough body on him, and he's got his way of finding the ball.
Good foul at the other end. That'll go against Coleman. That'll be his third. Avery Johnson coaching up his guys. It's been tough this past couple of weeks, but Coach Johnson says he likes to spend at least one day a week talking to Coach Saban. Says he's been a real big help. Kind of get back into the college world. Understanding what makes these young guys tick. Of course, it helps having a son who's college age.
Yep. Understanding it.
Yep.
As Avery said, the Alabama family has been very receptive of him across the state in different functions when he got here this summer. Coach Saban was terrific to include him in all the events that he had.
Basahan working on Lee. Good defense by Marcus Lee. He's playing with 4 fouls.
Move your feet, use your length, and make a smaller play or make a great play over the top. Basahan couldn't finish. And Dave, I really think it was only 2 possessions Alabama went to a zone, and neither one they weren't successful. Back to the man-to-man. Here's the screen and roll. Good pass.
Count the basket. The lead has been pushed to 14.
Ulis came down the lane and looked one way and made the pass the other way. And the defense is really frozen because Poythress was the guy you had to defend, either Poythress or you had Lee, and you're the back guy defense. So here comes Ulis. Once he split the top, he looked left at Poythress, which as a defender you'd think, well, that's probably where he's going. We put in Marcus Lee's hand, and Lee stayed with it to finish.
Lee now 0 for 5 at the free throw line. Obasahan with 21 points.
That's Marcus Lee again at 6'9". Obasahan couldn't go by him. Lee gave him space because of the length, because of the reach. They could still bother the shorter Obasahan when he got up for his jump shot.
Ulis. Little belong to Kentucky. 2 on the shot clock. We'll see what Kentucky does after the timeout. Kentucky up by 14. Alex Poythress with a career night. $14-point lead for Kentucky. Big reason why. Alex Poythress, 25 points. He's hit 8 of 10. A career high for Alex tonight.
Well, he's done it every time he touches the ball in different positions, even though they're all around the rim. That one a little bit further out. 8 of 10 from the field, 9 of 11 from the free throw line. He's been able to, when they've needed a bucket, he's got one.
Well, it was a struggle for Marcus Lee and Alex Poythress. We talked about it at the open against LSU, and they were challenged all week at practice. And tonight, it hasn't been a great night, Marcus Lee, offensively, but he has been more aggressive in the backboard. He's fouled. He has been playing with 4 fouls. But, you know, with Alex Poythress, it's these kind of nights that make you go, why not every night? I mean, the aggression, the way he's handled the pick and roll, the authority with which he's been playing, the confidence.
I'll just say it again. When you're a junior and a senior, those two guys had heard enough all week about the LSU game. You know, I mean, there's no doubt the way they played tonight. And Avery Johnson told his guys, hey, these two guys are coming in, and they're going to play great. We've got to match them. We've got to be aggressive. We've got to be physical. And I think Alabama has been physical. Sometimes you're just not good enough after the physicality to finish a play.
2 seconds on the shot clock for Kentucky here. Murray, 1. Didn't get it off in time. John Calipari said, why don't you take the shot at the free throw line?
You know, it's funny because all coaches will have guys line up full court and dribble like it's 4 seconds or 5 to get down, or half, 2 seconds, whatever it takes to get from point A to point B. Murray kind of smiled when it just didn't quite get. I mean, he's about a half step. You have to go a little bit faster. I was at the Arkansas game. Damian Jones took with 2.2 from the 3-point line and dunked it at the buzzer to send it to overtime.
Arkansas ended up winning that game in overtime against Vanderbilt. Commodores 0-3 in league play. Shocking story there developing.
Yeah, they now have to figure out how to win.
Yeah.
I mean, that again, once you lose a few, you get used to that, and players start questioning themselves, can they do it? That's an outstanding team, one of the finer teams in the SEC. But they'll be home against Auburn on Tuesday, so maybe they can find their way. What a second half for Briscoe.
And double figures now, the third Wildcat. Poythress with 25, Murray 16, Briscoe 10.
And he was scoreless in that first half. He was misses only 2 shots that he took.
Timeout. Take a look at tonight's Good Hands play of the game, brought to you by Allstate. For that, we'll go with Jimmy Taylor.
That's great hands. I tell you what, he comes from underneath, and the finish out.
Hale at the free throw line.
So Poythress picks up his 3rd personal foul. Now think of this, Dave. The first one was at about 30 feet, just guarding the dribbler back early in the second half. Kind of goofy. The second one was on the offensive end, setting a screen, but he didn't move too much. Now the third one is really a non-aggressive basketball play made by Shannon Hale. He's kind of used his hand-picked up 3 that drives coaches crazy.
That will probably be talked about in the film room.
It will right after someone says, "Great game, Allen."
Yeah.
Because then a coach goes,
right, that's what I'm saying, in the film room. Right.
I'm impressed by the ability of Briscoe off the dribble, especially with his left hand. He's attacking mode. This guy could flat out shoot it.
Obasahan with 21. He's coming off a 23.6 rebound game against Ole Miss. Hale can't convert. You know, as we see Hale get up off the deck, he's the guy, in my opinion, that Alabama, somehow he's got to be more of a factor offensively. He's got good size, 6'8", 230. Missed some games, banged up a little bit. Actually, they called it a medical condition. Didn't play for 3 games. Broken foot last year, kind of slowed him down. But he's that guy that can give them the extra punch.
Yeah, he's, you know, here he is. He's 6'8", 235. He's now in his junior season. Came in highly recruited. Gives you some nights that you think that's what we need. He had 20 against Wichita State. You saw the steal that sealed the Clemson win. We had 12.7 rebounds in that one in 30 minutes. Yeah. But, you know, then you go to Ole Miss and you get a couple buckets in 15 minutes and 2 rebounds. I mean, there's not the consistency that I think he expects of himself and what this Alabama team needs. Because if he plays well and he's got the game, he can shoot outside, he's talented enough inside, he can do a lot of damage to teams, not only on the offensive end, but defensive as well.
Been a tough 48 hours for Alabama. You got to go to Ole Miss and open up a brand new building, and then you come home against a rested Kentucky team that's got a little fire in the belly after the loss to LSU. And for Kentucky, they'll get to go home Tuesday night, take on Mississippi State. They lose to Arkansas today, do the Bulldogs. Then you're back on the road for 2 more, at Auburn and at Arkansas.
Well, no matter where, obviously, where this Kentucky team travels, it's packed house and people are against them, and they're used to that. That's this program.
As Coach Cal said, though, that generally speaking, this is a really good road team. They generally play better on the road. It is tough for them to play at home with all the expectations that's played. The guys just seem to be a little bit more comfortable when they get away from all of that.
Well, obviously the gold standard in this league and maybe in all of college basketball is University of Kentucky. 46 SEC titles, and that man has built them to every year they're at the top of the heap. And so, yeah, maybe they could get away from home and all of a sudden, especially at this type of team where it's not filled with the superstars as a year ago when they're nearly, I mean, they got to 38-0. This team will take some lumps on certain nights like we saw at LSU.
By the way, I think Cal says that about playing on the road. I think that's a mental game with his guys because I honestly believe that
they're pretty good at home.
Yeah. How about was it 54 in a row they won there? Cal got the job, and they're on a good streak now.
Yeah.
He plays a lot of head games with his guys. He's a manipulator.
Well, think of this. He has every year, he has young guys.
Yeah.
The ones who don't buy the head stuff will be Poythress. The seniors will look
Right,
go.
right.
Here we go.
Yeah, right. I got to listen to this again. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that streak at home right now is at 29, by the way. And they had a 54. They're 111 and 4 at home under Coach Cal. Coach Cal.
Yeah, you can really never tell how he's feeling during a game, Dave, right? He just struggles. He's so quiet on that sideline. You wonder what he's thinking, how he's feeling.
At one point tonight, he even scared Laura.
You know, I'm just going to tell him, don't get on that hoverboard. I saw that video.
Yeah.
Trying to get on a hover. Nah, don't try that stuff.
Murray saves it. Under a minute to go. Murray right to the rack. Count it. Now that is a big-time play from a big-time player.
No, it's one thing, and there are great players everywhere, and there are good players. And to be able to jump, move the ball around, take contact, and keep your eyes in the head where that rim is and be able to finish. Nice.
Murray now, 20 points. Make it 21. 5 rebounds. His 17-point average will bump up tonight after another outstanding performance. He and Alex Poythress, outstanding nights. How about tonight? Plus 19 on the backboards. Dante Hall with a fantastic finish. Even got his coach to give him a round of applause. Alabama just ran out of gas. Tough turnaround against a tough team.
You know, think of this, Dave. They had it within 4, second half. Coleman Coliseum was into it. And Isaiah Briscoe, there were offensive rebounds that were had by Kentucky. And then Briscoe really hit some tough and difficult shots and has had a solid second half of the offensive end.
Well, the crowd's going crazy. Lawson Schaefer knocks home a 3 in the corner, gets them on their feet. But in the end, it's Kentucky with a 16-point lead, 77-61, as they win in fine fashion on the road here at Coleman Coliseum. Wildcats will go to 12-3. Alabama will drop to 9-5. A fantastic performance. Murray and Poythress combined for 46 points, 12 rebounds, 15 of 23 from the field. Overall, Kentucky shoots 55% from the field, and I think the number that tells the story tonight, 43-25 in the rebounding department, 15-8 in the offensive rebounding department. I would say we'll hear from Coach Cal in a second, but I'm going to think he's going to be pretty happy with the way his guys responded after Tuesday's loss at LSU. Let's go to Laura right now, and let's find out. Laura?
Thanks, Coach. Alex Poythress, a career night with 25 points. What made the difference for him this week?
You're going to have to ask him that. But I was happy that Marcus Lee played. Missed a bunch of fouls. I think he was 0 for 6 from the line. It's hard to be a basketball player. But everything else, he blocked, he rebounded, he was tough. I thought Jamal made strides. He made winning plays today. The only tough shots he took were late in the clock. Tyler was what he was. And Isaiah, now I want you to know, if he can make a couple of those shots, we become a different team. Alex was outstanding.
At one point in the second half, this was a 4-point game. You said you know a lot about your team after this performance. What do you know now?
Look, if we all do our jobs, you know, we can't have guys come and have goose eggs, like no points and a rebound in 30 minutes. We're not that good. But if they all play, we can play with anybody. If they don't, we get beat by anybody. It's just how it is. Thanks.
Great analysis, Coach. Alex, let's bring you in right here. What made the difference for you to have the night that you had tonight coming off of LSU?
We know, all the teammates, we just had to get focused for coming off the loss. You know, we couldn't lose 2 in a row.
What's the most difficult thing about being a consistent player day in and day out that you've had to learn with an increased role?
I mean, it's hard. You know, you just got to come in prepared each and every day, come ready to work. You know, some days you don't feel like it, but you got to work anyways.
I know this has been a tough week of practice for you guys. How rewarding is this considering that? I
mean, it's great. Anytime you win, you always enjoy it. You always love it. But now we enjoy it for 10 minutes, and we got to move on to the next game.
Thanks, Alex.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Dave?
All right, thank you very much. A humble Alex Poythress. Young man's already graduated, got a degree in his pocket. Also has a career night here at Alabama with 25. That'll do it, 77-61 for my partner, John Sunvold, Laura Rutledge. So long. Let's send it to Maria Taylor in the studio.